I traded respect for approval and almost lost my
I
marriage.
thought I was just having fun. That's the lie I told myself for a long time. When we arrived at the party, the room was buzzing with energy music too loud, people laughing too hard, drinks refilled before they were empty. I felt alive in that environment. I always did. My boyfriend stood beside me, relaxed but reserved, scanning the room like he didn't quite belong. We'd been together for 3 years, long enough to know each other's habits. I was social and loved attention. He was quiet and thoughtful. I used to say we balanced each other out. That night I treated that difference like a flaw. As the evening went on, I slipped into the role I knew best: storyteller, entertainer, the person who kept the group laughing. Someone asked how we met, and I launched into the story, exaggerating his awkwardness for effect. People laughed. I felt that familiar rush, the kind that made me feel seen. So I kept going. I joked about how serious he was, how he never knew how to dance, how he always overthought things. Each comment earned more laughter, and each laugh made me forget to look at his face. I didn't notice when his smile faded or when he quietly stepped away. I was too busy soaking up the attention. At some point I realized he wasn't there anymore. The laughter around me continued, but something felt off. I scanned the room and spotted him standing near the balcony doors, just staring out into the night. A sudden uneasiness settled in my chest. I followed him outside. The cool air cut through the warmth of the party. He didn't turn around when I called his name. When he finally faced me, the look in his eyes stopped me cold. It wasn't anger. It was disappointment, layered with something deeper: resignation, maybe. I tried to brush it off, laughing nervously. "I was just joking," I said. "Everyone knows I didn't mean it." But he asked me a question instead. He asked if I realized how often I made him the punchline. The words hit harder than I expected. I tried to defend myself, saying it was harmless, that I teased everyone. He listened quietly, then shook his head. He told me that joking at someone else's expense stops being funny when it happens over and over again, especially when it's from the person who's supposed to care the most. Then came the confession. He told me he'd been carrying something heavy for months. He said he'd been questioning whether he was enough for me, whether he fit into the life I seemed to want so badly. He admitted that nights like this made him feel invisible, like he only existed to make me look better by comparison. My chest tightened. I had never heard him talk like this, so open, so vulnerable. He said he had considered ending our relationship, not because he didn't love me, but because loving me had started to hurt. Hearing that felt like the ground shifting beneath my feet. I apologized immediately, but the words felt so weak. Sorry? Didn't undo the laughter. Sorry didn't erase the way I had chosen approval from strangers over his dignity. For the first time, I really saw the damage my behavior had caused, not just that night, but over time. He told me he needed honesty, not promises. He needed respect, not reassurance. He needed to know if I could love him without turning him into entertainment. We went inside to grab our things. The party felt different now, louder, emptier, meaningless. No one noticed us leaving. The days that followed were uncomfortable. I replayed that night over and over, realizing how often I used humor as armor, how I chased validation without considering the cost. We talked more in those few days than we had in months. Real, hard conversations. He told me about his insecurities. I told him about my fear of being overlooked. There was no dramatic gesture, no instant forgiveness, just effort. I started paying attention to my words, not censoring myself, but being mindful. I learned to sit comfortably without needing to be the loudest voice in the room. Weeks later, we went to another gathering. This time, I stayed present. I listened. I noticed how people responded to him when given the chance to speak. He was enough on his own. On the way home that night, he reached for my hand and smiled, a real smile. That moment meant more than all the laughter from weeks before. I learned that love isn't about being impressive. It's about making the person beside you feel safe, valued, and respected, even when no one else is watching. Mocking him didn't just embarrass him, it revealed parts of myself I needed to change. And while that confession shook me, it also saved us. Because sometimes the most uncomfortable truths are the ones that give you the chance to grow. Thanks for watching.